Well, it's finally springtime, and people across Colorado are going to use this time to improve their mental health after a season of winter blues. I didn't even realize seasonal depression affected me so much, and then the sun came out, the temperatures warmed up.
This is what I've been missing, right? I feel so much
The
better.
heavens opened up.
Yeah, truly. There is one thing that you can do to make the process smoother, though, and you may already be doing it without even knowing all the benefits. So 9 News mental health expert Dr. Sheryl Ziegler joins us now to talk about the link between what you eat and how you feel. I totally get this, and I have a feeling you're going to tell me all the things I don't want to hear. It's fine. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Nice to see you guys.
All right, so how did they find out that these two are connected?
Yeah, there's been a good amount of research, but this research is even heftier than the others. Thousands and thousands, 8,000 participants. They studied them and they asked them all sorts of questions. And looking at the types of food they ate was linked to whether they had higher levels of depression, anxiety, and other things. So what they found was the more ultra-processed foods people ate, that's fast food. Honestly, ultra-processed foods is a majority of our diet. We've talked about that before.
Right.
The more you ate, you had this higher propensity, over 20% more likely to have anxiety, over 40% more likely to have depression. So this was a big study just in terms of it's adding to the data that we have that says, yes, it really does matter what we put inside our bodies.
Yeah, what direct impact are we seeing when it comes to how we eat with our mental health?
Yeah, so what's happening is when you eat ultra-processed foods, it can cause inflammation. And inflammation is something that, people don't think about. Neuroinflammation is really what it is. So in terms of mental health, it causes inflammation in the brain, which can impede your mood. It can impede your motivation, your memory, your ability to even think clearly and not feel like you're in a fog. So it has a really significant impact, the way inflammation in the body works. So that's what I want people to think about. You do certain things, even certain people eat certain foods and they go, my joints hurt when I do that, or gluten, the way that causes inflammation and it hurts your gut, the same thing happens in our brain.
So what food should you be eating for your mental health?
Well, this particular study kind of said, just follow the Mediterranean diet. And I just felt like, even when I read that, it's like, yes, you don't have to look very far. The Mediterranean diet means nuts, seeds, healthy oils, very limited red meat, high in fish, omega-3s. Those are the kinds of foods that really reduce inflammation and put us in an optimal place for depression, anxiety, handling stress, even just seeing the world in a more optimistic way. It really affects the mind and body and emotional and cognitive state.
Okay, you mentioned red meat. What other foods then should we look to avoid as we're trying to make these meals?
Yeah, I keep using that word ultra-processed. So what I'll say is that means fried foods. That means something you get out of a box.
Right.
That means something that has ingredients in it that doesn't exist in your kitchen. So that's everything from the fast foods to just even bread is ultra-processed. Breads, crackers, cookies, sugar as well. So in a Mediterranean diet, sugar is pretty low. It doesn't say no, but it's really low. And we know that sugar does cause inflammation. So you really want to match that as well. So people can think about what not to eat, but also maybe replace that with what to eat.
Right. You're great with the no sugar.
I try.
You're really good with that.
That's
As
great.
I've got cookies sitting right here, Jordan.
But she doesn't eat them. She pushes them off to everybody else.
Good for
I'm
you.
a dealer.
Yeah, she's a pusher.
I got to hook up my team over here. But this is really interesting because I feel like when I do eat something healthy and I choose something healthy, I'm like, yes, good job, Corey. But this is so much beyond that. It's, you're talking about inflammation and all
There's
the
a
other
physical
things.
effect.
Absolutely.
Yes, and we know that physical mental effect is just so strong now, and even in mental health.
Dr. Ziegler, super interesting. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. Let's